We're in the Villains Cookbook today with a recipe that comes for lunch from Lady Tremaine, and it's called Lady Tremaine Emerald Grain Bowl. And I'll show you a picture here. So basically this is a rice bowl with some vegetables that you see here. There's green beans, broccoli, edamame, cucumber, and then you make this kind of avocado cilantro dressing and put it on top. All right, here's some clips of me putting it together. Okay, so the first step in the rice bowl is making the rice. I personally like to make my rice in the Instapot, so you can make it however you want. If you're curious what I do in the Instapot, which you can kind of see back here, I took a cup of brown rice, 1 cup of water, put them together, put it in the Instapot on high for 15 minutes. When it's done cooking, I'll let it do a natural release for 5 minutes, then I'll, do the full release. Now, while that is preparing, I'm going to get ready and roast my vegetables. So I have some green beans and broccoli here, and I bought the pre-washed and trimmed green beans that you can already buy at the store. Same thing with the broccoli, just to save a little time. So you can do whatever you want, but it says to toss this in olive oil. Might have went a little bit heavy. This is something I think I've mentioned in other videos I do often for making vegetables. I like to just toss them in olive oil and roast them in the temperature, in the oven. Roast them in the temperature. Roast them in the oven at a high temperature until they're nice and kind of like charred. And yeah, I might have went a little heavy on the olive oil. New bottle, but that's okay. Right. I'm going to season with just a little salt and pepper just to kind of add a little bit of flavor to them. All right, so these will cook for about like 10 to 15 minutes until they're nice and charred. So I'm getting ready to make the dressing that goes in there. So far what I have in my blender is an avocado, a whole one, some garlic, some lime juice, some honey, and some water. And the last ingredient is I have this cilantro, just a freshly packed half a cup cilantro. And if you just heard a meow, that's my kitty saying hello. All right. Also, one more thing to note before I blend this. I am keeping an eye on the vegetables and I am stirring them over so often to help kind of keep everything nice and charred and even. All right, blend it. Just to note, I've had to do this a few times now, kind of like go in here and mix it up a little bit because it seems like it is having a hard time blending it. That could just be my blender. Maybe I need one of those like bullet blenders like people use for smoothies or something. But anyway, we'll try to get a little bit smoother. Alright, so I'm giving up on making this smooth and creamy and perfect like the picture. I think that's just my blender's not going to do it. Maybe if I'd chop things a little bit finer, I don't know, but maybe I should use the taller one. Anyway, the rice is basically almost done. The veggies will be done in a few minutes, so the last thing I need to do is prep the cucumbers that go in the bowl, so I just need to dice up some sliced cucumbers. For my cucumber, I just got little Persian cucumbers. It says you need 2 of these small ones. I'm just going to dice up 1 for now. They come in packs of like 6 anyway. So I've been using them for other recipes this week that I've been making. I have a feeling this bowl's going to make a couple bowls, and so I'm hoping it lasts so I can use this for lunch for a few days. And I can always dice up more cucumbers as needed. And the last thing that goes into this is edamame. Frozen edamame is the next ingredient. It says to thaw it. So I did thaw it in the fridge, but I think I'm going to microwave it for just a few minutes just to be safe. Okay, it's assembly time. So I'm going to start by putting some rice in the bottom of my bowl. Everything is steaming. I worry my bowl's going to be a little small because my bowls are not super big. Maybe I should have just did this on a plate. All right, so here are some of my green beans and broccoli. Here's also the green beans and broccoli in case you were kind of wondering what they looked like out of the oven. See, they got that nice kind of light brown to them. That was the color I was going for. All right, let's see. What does it say to do next? I have made a mess today. I got water all over everything. All right, let's put some cucumbers. They have it in the picture. They have it so neat in different things. I'm just mixing it all together because, it's all kind of going the same place anyway. Some edamame. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of my avocado salad dressing stuff on top, which I think is going to be, I assume the flavor's still going to be there, even though it's not probably the dressing texture that I was supposed to get, which again, I think was just a combination of me probably not chopping them fine enough before putting them in my blender. All right, let's try a taste test of this real quick. It's all warm. Sorry, I'm not turning my camera real quick. I'm just gonna speak off camera on this. I'm trying to get a little bit of everything in the bite. Need a cucumber. Come on, cucumber. So it needs a little salt, but I do like it. I just add a little bit more of that salad dressing stuff. Again, this is more like a lump, so that's kind of a fail on my part. As you probably know by now, I seem to mess things up every so often. Anyway, I do like it with that. And I mean, it is just a bowl, so I think you could use other kinds of dressing, but I'll get to that here after I finish eating this and I do my final thoughts. Review time for the Lady Tremaine bowls. Overall, I really liked them. I thought they were really delicious, but I mean, I love oven roasted vegetables. It's my favorite way to make them. I love rice bowls, so everything about this I loved. My hardest part was the dressing, obviously. You know, it wasn't really smooth and creamy like I think it was supposed to be in the picture. I had chunks of avocado. I think I just need a better blender. I think I need one of those like really small, like kind of bullet blenders to really get things like that really well. But I really enjoyed it. When I reheated it though, because I had leftovers, the dressing didn't really hold up, you know? So I used some other options, which I think I want to mention, because I think if you don't like cilantro, I know some people don't like cilantro, like my husband doesn't like the taste of it, or if you don't want to make this dressing, there are some pre-bought store options you could use and save yourself some time. Obviously rice, you could use soy sauce, which I did, and that tasted fine. The one day I just used plain hummus, and actually I really liked the hummus. I thought the hummus was really nice. So I think you could just use hummus and it doesn't have to be plain. It could be your favorite flavor. Things I haven't tried, but I think I might in the future that could work well would be something like tzatziki, or maybe that like green goddess style dressing or something, you know, something with some like avocado in it. But anyway, yes, it was delicious. I loved it. So let's rank it. The first are the ingredients on a scale of 1 to 5, and this is a 1. Basically, every ingredient is really easy to find. It's not really going to cost you a ton of money, especially when you think about what you get on the op side, like how much it makes. Difficulty level on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 is easy, 5 is hard. I'm just going to give this a 2, and it's probably not even a 2 for most people, but I only give it a 2 because there's a few steps involved. You got to make the rice, you got to make the vegetables, cut the cucumber, and then that dressing and things like that. So that's why I'm giving it like a 2, but really I think for most people I'd be like a 1 to a 1.5. Would I make it again on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 is never and 5 is absolutely. This is a 5 for me. I really liked it. I think this will be a great thing I'm going to work into my rotations, especially for lunch. I can like pre-make some of this stuff on Sunday and then just kind of heat it up through the week and enjoy it.